Hello, everybody. Good morning. I need a hair tie real quick. All right. Let me pause this, quiet this down. Where did my chat go? I had the chat open a moment ago, and now I don't see it. Live chat, there it is. All right, what's up? Welcome in, DD. Hello, Mikhail, Jane, Patty, Lisa, Vishali. Hello, Cindy. Hope you're fine as well. Hope you're more than fine. Hey, Nina. Happy you're practicing today as well. What's up, Krista? Andriana. Good to have you here live. And hello, Jackie. Good to have you all here. Good news, we have the next immersion is announced. It is called Lotus, anatomically focused techniques for hip opening. So in particular, obviously, we'll be working towards the posture called Lotus Pose, getting our legs to rotate externally without putting the pressure at the knee, which is a challenging task. So I'll show you all my best and favorite techniques to get there, and hope to provide you with a path that will lead you to your lotus posture. Now, of course, everyone's hips are different. However, it's not like I was born to do lotus posture myself. I wasn't able to do this many years ago, but with the right techniques and the right amount of practice, which is part of it, you can definitely get there. Unless, of course, there's something anatomically that would restrict you, and that's very rare. But we all do have different femur bones and so on and so forth, so it does make a difference, and width of our pelvis and so on. But more or less about getting the right length out of all the different muscles that surround the pelvis and the hip joints, and making sure that we have the right amount of stability at the knee joints will allow us to get to lotus pose. All right, and all the different variations. Additionally, June 2023, if you're watching this live, the 19th through the 21st, 19th, 20th, 21st, yes, we will be doing a training, in-person immersion here in Connecticut, and that is called Anatomy in Motion, taking off of the immersion that we did last year. Similar concept, except it's going to be obviously in person. We will do an online version of it. Let me say this again. We'll have an online pre-training so that everybody's coming in with the same anatomy knowledge, so that when we get to the actual in-person event, everyone will be able to start the same place from an intellectual standpoint, so that we can get this all into your physical body. So if you are a yoga teacher, you will get 40 hours continued education for this training. If you're not a yoga teacher, do not worry. It is open to everybody, all levels appropriate, and we are excited to have you. It is residential, so there is housing that you will have the choice to stay in. We suggested it's right at the location that we are doing the training at. So we'll have a great time. It'll be a nice, comfortable place. It's in June. The pool should be open outside. They also have an indoor pool, hot tub there, massage, and all the different spa offerings at the hotel itself. So it's a great spot, and look forward to sharing that with you. For today, this is our final class of the Breath of Fire immersion. We're going to begin with pranayama breath work. We'll do Bhastrika to get the diaphragm and transversus abdominis strengthened, and repeat that from the beginning of the course. And then we'll just dive into some yoga. I think I've got a posture that I would like for us to work with that piggybacks on what we did last class of Ashtavakrasana. Same exact technique, basically, to get us into Ashtavakrasana, into the pose today. I won't give it away. I keep it a little bit of a mystery. And then, of course, if you are watching this after the fact, it won't be a mystery, because it'll be written on the video what it's about. However, Key points today will be flexion of the spine, internal rotation of the thigh bones. So we'll be unifying the core. Really, this is going to be the fire line. So even though we'll be doing internal rotation of the thigh bones, which is water line, we're going to be focusing on, yes, our abductor muscles from the water line will be participating in this. So it is a water line, certainly from the legs down, we're thinking of that way, but we're going to actually focus on the adductors, which also can create internal rotation. So the internal rotation, while the outer hips will participate, waterline, fire line, adductor muscles, also secondary earth line, it's all involved together, right, is going to help create the internal rotation while keeping spinal flexion. Okay, so take a comfortable seat. I just need to turn off the heat because it keeps coming on and off and it's making a loud noise. I don't know if it's coming through the microphone or not for you, but it is for me. So that's off. All right, let's roll with some pranayama, get ourselves started here, get our core warmed up through breath work. So just a reminder, the Bhastrika is both deliberate inhales and exhales, and it's created from the movement of the abdominals, not from the throat and nose that I just did there, but okay, so the purpose is to move the diaphragm, move the transversus abdominis through engagement and release of these muscles. So together, let's take a breath in and out. Inhale. And exhale. One more just like that. All right, let's begin. We take a breath in, and here we go. Breathe in. Slight hold at the top. Breathe out. Slight hold at the bottom. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do another round. That last round was about 30, so we'll see if we can increase that to about to 40 if we can. Let's take a breath in. Here we go. Enjoy a breath in. Hold at the top. Exhale it out. Hold at the bottom. Inhale. Exhale. We're gonna come down again back to 30. Last round. Breathe in. Here we go. Breathe in. Hold at the top. Breathe out. Hold at the bottom. Inhale. And exhale. All right, let's come on to our back. Do a little core connection to our psoas and hip flexors. Keep our diaphragm contracted. So you come to happy baby without holding your hands to your feet. So what that means is, excuse me while I pull that hair off you'll turn your thigh bones out, abduct the legs, flex the feet so your toes are facing out, your kneecaps are facing out, and you're trying to pull your knees down as tight to the ground as possible. So the feet are trying to come closer to your face, okay, without necessarily, a little tuck of the tailbone is okay, but we want to try to get the maximum out of our hip flexion, okay? And then we're going to try to contract the diaphragm. So press the belly out and down. You're going to maintain that belly out and down while pulling your knees towards the ground. Even on the exhale, you're going to try to keep the diaphragm pressing down and out. So just think about kind of pushing the walls of your abdomen out on all sides. So circumferentially push out. So we're just contracting the diaphragm in a prolonged state, the best you can. Of course, it's hard to keep the diaphragm down. That's why we're doing it, just to give it some, a little bit of endurance. Now, you're gonna take the right foot and internally rotate the right thigh, tap the ground, okay, with your big toe, and you're in half happy baby still. So let me change the angle. Half happy baby right now. So the right toe just barely tapping the ground, left thigh externally rotate it the best you can. And you're gonna feel actually, probably from this action of trying to pull your foot closer to your face and your knee away from you, you might actually feel your adductor muscles activating here. Okay, let's switch. Bring the right foot back into happy baby pose. Take a breath in. And then internally rotate left foot, tap the ground with your big toe, and we'll sustain this. Again, you're trying to keep your tailbone a little bit tucked here so your low back is fully on the ground. And with your low back fully on the ground, slight tailbone tuck, you're trying to bring this right ankle bone towards your face. The diaphragm pressing down and out circumferentially, trying to expand the core. So right now I can feel my rectus abdominal muscles are active. I'm trying to bring this ankle bone closer to my face, inner knee down towards the ground. All right, so maintaining this deep happy baby on the right side the best I can. Okay, bring it back, happy baby pose, and then release. I definitely feel that real strongly in the adductor muscles. Trying to bring the legs closer, more into this rotation. So it's interesting in this angle. It's kind of like the adductors are external rotators in a way, in a sense here. Okay, so let's take happy baby pose again. Now this time grab your heels from the inside, so your toes are facing out. Grab your heels from the inside and bring your knees down low until you feel a stretch in the inner thighs. Now press your knees away from you, and obviously your hands are what are going to keep your feet towards your face now. So your hands are on the heels, keeping the heels where they are. Flex, dorsiflex the feet, the toes should be turned out. Now you're going to try to press your heels up into your hands isometrically. And now let's find the diaphragm. On the inhale, press the belly down and out. And hold it there as we release the hands from the feet and just reach the hands straight up to the sky. Okay, now you're gonna keep a little tuck of the tailbone so your low back is rounded. And we're gonna go through the same drill we just did, but with the breath. So inhale, right big toe taps the ground. Exhale, happy baby. Inhale, left big toe taps the ground. Brace the core into this diaphragmatic contraction. Exhale, happy baby. Inhale, right foot. Internal rotation of the right leg. Exhale, happy baby. Inhale, left. Big toe touches. Exhale, happy baby. One more each side. Inhale, right. Low back on the ground. Exhale. Inhale, left. Exhale, happy baby. All right. Release. And exhale it out. Keep your left foot on the ground. Now we'll take half happy baby with the right hand. Grabs the heel, toes turn out. Your left hand is going to gently encourage the right knee to rotate out. So you see I'm going to kind of move the skin of my right knee out to the side as my right hand is going to help the right knee towards the ground. Okay, so right hand is on the heel, dorsiflexing the foot. My left hand is kind of lengthening the skin of my right adductors. That'll encourage a little external rotation, abduction. Now, once you have this, press your heel up into your hand isometrically, activating the hamstrings. You can start to bring the pelvis more back towards level. You'll notice to get the knee to the ground, of course, the pelvis had to rotate, but I'm gonna try to bring the pelvis now back towards level with trying to keep the knee closer to the ground. All right, and then release. Take a breath in. Left side here. Spin the left thigh bone out, knee out to the side. Right hand, and it's going to encourage the knee to go out wide. Left hand is going to grab onto the heel as you bring the heel toward, left knee towards the ground. Heel vertical, straight up to the sky. Again, your right hand can help the knee out to the side more, which will help externally rotate the left thigh bone and also abduct the left thigh bone. Okay, many of you talked about it was hard in Ashtavakrasana to get the leg over the arm deep enough, so we're working on a little bit of hip depth and flexibility here in this final class. Of course, many of you are signed up for the Lotus Immersion, so you'll get a lot more of this kind of exercises, actions, and ways, techniques to get deeper into your pelvic and hip opening. Okay, so now I'm going to bring my pelvis back to level, so right back of the pelvis now trying to be on the ground while kicking the left heel up to the sky, which will activate the hamstrings, activate the adductors. But my left arm is not just giving in. I'm pulling left shoulder towards the ground against the action of my left heel pressing up into my fingers. And again, you could still use your right hand to help encourage that external rotation. You'll feel probably a little more space happens at the hip joint. And then you can try to take over with the hip. Instead of the hand doing that action, you try to move your knee wider from the strength of your hip. Okay, and then slow to release, half happy baby. Take a full breath in and out. All right, so let's get our body heated up. Roll to your left, come up to all fours, hands and knees. Hello, Steph. Thanks for saying hello to us. Enjoy. Let's take a breath in, arch the back, look up. Exhale, round, gaze inward. Inhale, arch, look up. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch, look up. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. As you exhale, come to downward facing dog. Let's take the feet as wide as your yoga mat or even wider. Bend the knees and push the heels out isometrically until you feel your outer hips engage. That will start to tip the pelvis more into anterior tilt, which will lengthen your hamstrings more. Now start to lift the front of your quadriceps up into your hips and stick your bum to the sky. Getting a nice lift and lengthen out of the hamstrings. Full breath in. And full breath out. Nice and long through the upper body. Grip the fingers and stretch the arms as long as you can so your hips go up and back. Now keeping the feet wide, lift the heels up, roll into plank. So scoop the tail around the low back, then round the upper back until you're fully in plank pose. With your feet wide, imagine there's a big block between your shins. Squeeze the front of the shins toward each other until you feel your inner thigh muscles activate. Keep the inner thighs activated and now activate rectus abdominis, the abdominals and of course the external obliques as well. So pull your front ribs in more until you dome the whole back. So your upper back is fully rounded while squeezing your legs toward each other. Now lean forward towards your fingers, take a full breath in and place the knees down, child's pose. Inhale forward, arch the back, look up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right leg to the sky, inhale, reach up. Step right foot outside of right hand. High lizard lunge preparation, so back leg straight and strong. Right toes turned out. Pull your feet toward each other, lengthen the chest, full breath in. Now as you exhale, bend the elbows. Use your abdominals to round the spine and look at your belly button. Inhale, lengthen the chest. Exhale, round. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, inhale, lengthen. Now you're going to turn your right toes out to the right. Same thing with the back foot. Left foot turns out. And you take a stretch of the right outer hips in modified side plank. So both toes turn out to the right. And then you send the hips up a little bit to the sky to stretch the right outer hip. Take a full breath in. And out. Keep lifting the hips up. 2 more breaths. If you want, your right hand can help push the skin of your adductors to the right. Might help take some stress off of the right knee if you have any. 1 more breath. And exhale, release. We'll step to down dog. Forward to plank pose, inhale. Take the feet wide again, at least as wide as your yoga mat. I have a wide mat, so it's nice and far apart with the legs. Squeeze the front of the shins in, activating the adductors. Scoop the tail, round the upper back, and even the low back. Round the low back as well for this. Full breath in. And knees down, child's pose. Forward to all fours, arch, look up. Press outward with the backs of the legs as you come to down dog. So push the hamstrings away from each other so you feel your outer hips engaged. The hamstrings will lengthen as a result because your outer hip muscles will help you anterior tilt the pelvis. And of course, the hamstrings are attached to your sit bones. Okay, let's take the left leg to the sky. And step forward outside of your left hand. Back knee is going to stay up for this round. Get a little pulse in your legs, just kind of feel your muscles. take a breath in. Slide your butt back a little bit and then round your upper back by pulling your ribs towards your spine. Look at your navel. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Okay, inhale, lengthen. Plant the right palm on the ground, grip the fingers, and let's roll to the outer edges of both feet. Now, if it's too much of a stretch, walk your left foot back further, okay? Send your hips to the sky, and again, your left hand, you could kind of push the skin of your inner thigh, your adductors, out to the left. It'll help externally rotate your left thigh, and might take some pressure off the knee for those of you who have it. But lift your hips up nice and tall to get the stretch into the left outer hip. Just a couple more breaths. Okay. Both hands to the ground, downward facing up. Feet nice and wide. Squeeze the legs in, scoop the tail, roll into plank pose. Inhale. And exhale, child's pose. Full breath in, all fours, tuck the toes. Exhale, down dog. Full breath in here. And out. Let's lift the heels up. Inhale, look forward. Walk to the front of the mat. And again, let's take the feet wide, wider than hip width apart. Half lift, lengthen the chest. And exhale, bow. So I'm currently about double hip width apart, let's say. It's okay if your feet are not on your mat to do so. Hands to the pelvis, arch the back. Rise up halfway, hold. Try to squeeze in with the fronts of your feet and shins. So squeeze in from the front of the thighs. You should feel your inner thigh muscles activate. But widen the back of your hamstrings. Like lift your bum up to the sky and press the backs of the legs apart. So backs of the legs apart, fronts of the shins in. You should feel inner thighs active from squeezing in. The outer hips active from pushing out. Okay, then rise by tucking the tailbone all the way up to stand. Bring the feet closer together. Inhale, reach all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana. To the earth bow, Uttanasana, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Left foot back, exhale. Let's take the left palm onto the ground. Pull your feet toward each other. Inhale, round the back. Exhale, twist, turn the chest, right hand to the sky. Inhale, undo the twist. And let's actually circle. Right arm pulls back as you exhale, twist again. Inhale, circle it forward. Exhale, twist. I'll do a couple more. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Exhale. This time, right hand to the inside of your right foot. Back heel comes down. Exhale, left arm back. Open up. Inhale, reach forward. And exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Two more. Let's hold here. Press down through your front heel. A little movement or activation of rectus abdominis. Pull your pubic bone up. So you're shortening the abdominals a little bit. One more breath. Exhale, hands to the ground. Back knee comes down. Right foot out to the right. Turn it out. And we're just going to play a little bit with the front thigh. So rotate the right thigh out to the right and then back in. Out to the right and back in. So it's trying to spiral the right thigh bone outward. And you can come onto the outer edge of the foot when you do that. A couple more, priming the hips. All right. Lift the back pelvis up. So back thigh bone goes back and up. Stick your bum up to the sky. Place the forearms down to the ground for lizard lunge. Now, let's activate our adductors on the right leg. So squeeze your right knee into your shoulder the best of your ability. If the elbows on the ground is not accessible, place your forearms on blocks, please. Okay, so squeeze your right knee into your shoulder. Pull the ribs in and around the back, and I suggest look at your belly button. Now, to create a little bit of a PNF, an activation of the muscles that are stretching, one, we have knee squeezing in. That's going to engage the adductors, inner thigh muscles. But two, you could also press your right heel down like you're trying to tuck your sit bone. And as if you're trying to stand up, if you press your right heel down, that will activate your glutes and your hamstrings. Let's do 2 more breaths. Keep your front ribs in, so a little core activation, front body activation. All right, come on up. We'll walk the right foot across to the left side of the yoga mat. So your legs are now crisscrossed. Wag your tail to the left and walk your hands over to the right. This will stretch the outer hip and IT band there. I feel it all the way down the outer line of my calves even. All right, walk around, come into Prasarita Padottanasana. You'll have to even out your feet a little bit, I'm sure. Half lift, stick the bum up to the sky, arc the low back, meaning anterior tilt of the pelvis. And exhale, bend the elbows to bow. Notice the differences between the right hip and the left hip now after you've worked a few more postures on the right than the left. Two more breaths. Okay, half lift, inhale. We'll turn the toes out to the sides and bend the left knee for Skandasana. You can flex the right foot. And give a nice deep stretch to the adductors on the right leg and press your left knee out to the left. So instead of letting it kind of force this instep of the foot to kind of overstretch, you press your left knee out to the left. You'll see the left arch of the foot lifts up and you'll activate your left outer hip muscles. 2 more breaths. So what I do here is I activate my right hamstrings by pressing the right heel down into the ground as if I'm about to lift my hips up out of this. That takes that stretch reflex and diminishes it. So it allows me to be in the pose without such a deep sensation at the hamstrings. All right, come on up, press down, walk to the front of your mat. Let's step back to downward facing dog. Forward to plank pose, inhale. This time lower all the way down. Hello, Kristen. Hands out wide, feet wide, 3-part cobra. And melt. Pull the chest forward, lift the belly up. Exhale to release. Now let's do a little bit of core activation. So you'll take your forearms to the ground, feet wide, toes pointed. We'll start simple. So what we'll do is we'll tuck the chin into the chest, push the shoulder blades apart and pull the front ribs in. And as the pelvis lifts up off the ground, pull the pubic bone towards your navel. So you're on forearm plank on knees. Then slowly lower the pubic bone back down, relax the belly, arch the back. Let's take a breath in here. And here we go, chin to chest, ribs back. As the pelvis lifts, pull the pubic bone towards your navel, round the upper back, and then slow, thighs, pelvis, belly, heart. Let's do it again, breathe in here. Exhale, chin to chest, separate the shoulder blades, pull the ribs back, pubic bone towards the navel, thighs lift, dome the back, and then slow, thighs, pelvis, belly, arch. Take a breath in, and then release. We'll save the more challenging one for the next side. Inhale to plank pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Full breath in. And out. 2 more. One more. Okay, lift the heels up on the inhale, look forward. Empty the breath, hop or step lightly. When you get there, halfway lift. Exhale and bow. Squeeze the legs in, rise up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up. To the earth. Halfway lift. Right foot back. Gather strength in the legs. Inhale. Twist. Inhale, untwist. Exhale, twist. Inhale. Two more. Now to the inside of the left foot. Inhale. Back heel down. Exhale, open it up. Inhale. Exhale, open it up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. One more. Let's hold here. Pull your feet toward each other and press down through your left heel. A little core activation. Pull the pubic bone towards the navel. Turn the chest. Okay, release. Right hand to the ground. We're going to pivot the back knee to the ground. A little lizard preparation here. Move your bum back, so stick your butt up like this. It's called anterior tilt of the pelvis, activated by your back muscles. Place the elbows down onto the ground. Now, once your elbows are on the ground or on blocks, of course, you can press down through your forearms, pull your ribs back, activating your abdominal muscles. Keeping your abdominals activated, squeeze the left knee into your chest. So the abdominals are going to help us get real compact in the upper body. And of course, our hip flexibility is going to help us be compact in the low body. Those two things are necessary. We're going to try to ball ourselves up today. So the left knee squeezing into your shoulder. And a little scoop of the tail pressed down through your left heel, like as if you're going to stand up. That should get your hamstrings of the left leg active. All right, come on up. Ooh. We're going to walk, lift both hips up, walk your left foot over to the right side, wag your tail to the right, and hands over to the left to stretch the outer IT band, outer hip of the left leg. All right, now let's walk back around. We're going to take our Prasarnapadottanasana. Except this time you take a narrower stance, so feet a little closer together. Take a halfway lift, inhale. And then do your best to walk your hands back behind your feet this time. Turn them out, bend the elbows. Look at your belly button and round the back. And one of the things I'm doing for balance is I'm pressing my elbows out into my shins, making it a little bit easier to feel the connection of my upper body to my lower body. So I'm pushing elbows out, and now I'm squeezing my shins into the elbows. So they're pushing into each other. They become kind of a unit. Lifting the bum up to the sky. Now try to spin your thigh bones inward so that almost like the knees are going to start turning, but really it's your upper thighs we're trying to get, not so much the knee. The knee is not really trying to rotate at all. So the thigh bones rotate in. And the backs of the hamstrings out. So fronts of the thighs in, backs of the hamstrings out. That would be a rotation. That's called internal rotation because the front of the legs are turning in. Okay, release the hands out in front. Turn the toes out, a little wider stance. Skandasana, flex the left foot. Come on down. And again, I'm pressing my left. I'm not just sinking into the pose. I'm pressing my left heel down as if I wanted to stand up higher. And then pressing my right knee out to the side. So combining a lot of the hip muscle activations that we've done. The left heel pressing down, hamstring activation, that's the earth line. Okay, the right knee pressing out, that's the water line. So really kind of bringing in all the different lines together. Of course, they all belong with one another because they're all one body. All right, come on out of the pose. Let's step back down with facing dog. Forward to plank pose, inhale. Lower. Slide the hands, feet wide, three-part cobra. Melt. Pull the chest forward, lift the belly up. And release. All right, I promised that we'd do the more challenging version of this, so forearms to the ground, we initiate by chin to chest, then the ribs try to pull back, separating the shoulder blades. And then as the pelvis lifts up, pull your pubic bone to your navel, your thighs are lifted. Now you're on forearm plank. The major difference now is pull your knees towards your elbows and then press down through the tops of your feet till your quads engage and you're in forearm plank without the knees. So press the tops of your feet down and drag them towards your elbows, elbows towards feet, ribs in so your bum isn't sticking up like this, but your tailbone is still tucked. And then slow, 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 lower the knees. Slow, 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 lower the thighs, pelvis, and release the abdominal muscles into this back bend. Okay, so the slowness on the way down is really a useful way to build strength in the abdominal muscles. So let's do it again. Take a breath in, arch. And we go chin to chest. Separate the shoulder blades by pulling the heart back. Pubic bone, you might have to take a breath in here. Pubic bone towards the navel. Now press down through the tops of the feet and pull elbows and feet toward each other. Dome the upper back. Place the knees back slowly to the ground. Thighs slowly to the ground. Unravel the core. Hallelujah. Sphinx pose. Take a breath, take a breather. If this is your second one like it's mine, you're going to probably feel it's quite intense. If you go fast, it's not as intense, but going slow, very intense, especially on the way down there. Here we go again. Exhale, chin to chest. Upper back fills out. Pull the ribs in, belly in. Thighs lift up, pubic bone towards navel. Tailbone is tucked. Now press the tops of the feet down. Quads activate. Upper back is broad and full. So your upper back is really wide. Slow to lower the knees down, keeping them straight if you can. Thighs slow to lower down. Pelvis slow to lower down. Heart opens up. If you want to make this more challenging, you can take your elbows further out in front or your body away from your elbows so that you have a longer stance. It'll be even more intense. Okay, take a breath in. Exhale, chin to chest. Heart retracts backwards, ribs pull back. Press down into the knees, pull them towards your elbows. Tailbone tucks. Press down into the feet. Pull them towards your elbows. Tailbone stays tucked, upper back full. Keep the knees straight as you slowly lower them to the ground. Ooh, thighs, ooh, pelvis. Ooh, daddy. That's intense. Okay. That was, I think, 3 for me. That's enough for now. If you did 2, then do a third one. And we'll meet back in downward facing dog. All right, walk the hands back towards the feet and come into Malasana squat pose. You take your elbows to your inner knees, press outward to your inner knees until you feel your adductor muscles stretch. Okay, your hips will be lifted up above your calf muscles. They won't be resting anymore. Okay, then squeeze your knees in and activate the adductors. This way, you're going to be in a deep stretch from the pushing out with your arms, but the muscles are trying to create what's called a facilitated stretch. They're squeezing back in, so the knees squeeze into the arms while they are in a lengthened position. It's great to build strength of a muscle when it's in a lengthened position, no doubt. So just take a quick note. We're kind of like in Happy Baby, like we did at the start. You'll see your knees and your thighs are turned out, toes are turned out, right? We're going to take a break from this posture by doing the opposite with the legs. You're going to turn your thigh bones in. So take your fingertips to the ground, lift your heels up, turn your thigh bones in, straighten the legs. So you should be pigeon-toed. Your toes turn in, thighs turn in. Stick your bum up to the sky, lengthen. And exhale, bow. Thigh bones are fully turned in to the best of your ability. Inhale, lift the heels up, look forward. Externally rotate the legs. Come down again to your Malasana. Arms press knees apart, knees squeeze back in. Okay, now just to kind of give yourself an understanding of how we tend to kind of, when we stretch, we move into what's already flexible. So you can kind of see by going like this, if you dip your right shoulder, press your right arm out and look to your left with your heart and your torso, a little gentle spinal twist. You'll feel your right adductors will stretch a little bit more as a result. You come back to the center. Again, press your left elbow out, dip your left shoulder, left side of your heart down, lift your right side, so gentle twist. Feel the difference between the right and the left side now, okay, right? Come back to center. You probably noticed one side was tighter when you turned to the left or when you turned to the right. So go back and do them both. Turn gently, don't over twist or don't make this too deep of a twist. We don't want to throw sacrum out or anything like that. And I notice when I turn to the left, right adductor is way tighter than when I turn to the right. My left adductors don't feel as much sensation. So you might feel the same thing, or you might feel the opposite leg, or perhaps you feel quite even. All right, now we're gonna take the hands to the ground. Again, lift the heels up, spin the thigh bones in. So you're gonna spin on the ball mounds of your feet, the thigh bones to face more towards each other, toes to face more toward each other. Lift the bum up, halfway lift. And then exhale this time. See if you can walk your hands back, at least so that the fingertips are in line with the toes and elbows are inside the shins. Then push outward with your elbows and squeeze inward with your shins. Last step here is to pull your ribs back and look at your belly button. Okay. And then now let's come back to Malasana Squat, but this time we're gonna just have a little bit of fun, a little bit of play. Bring your hands forward. You're gonna try to keep spinal flexion. So you use your abdominals the whole time, separate the shoulder blades, and this spinal flexion will keep you small and tight, like you're doing that happy baby kind of position in the beginning. So you'll reach your hands out in front, hop, pull your pubic bone towards your navel as you hop, lean forward, grip the ground, hop, and then you go back. Hop, you lean into your hands, grip the ground, push, hop, okay? A couple times. And then you come forward again, try to keep your pubic bone and solar plexus close together. So you go hands out in front, way out there, lift the bum up, and then as you hop, try to pull your pubic bone towards navel, keeping yourself real compact. Whew, okay. And come to wide-legged standing forward fold, Uttanasana. This time, if you can, reach your hands between your thighs. All right, squeeze in with your legs, arch the back, rise all the way up to stand. Tadasana. Let's take the right ankle over the left knee. So, standing figure four. You could turn and face a wall, sticking your bum back like so, or you could use blocks, but the idea is you want to move your weight and your butt back this way to stretch the right hip. And then if you want to take it a little bit deeper, you take your hands off to the left. A little bit deeper, you take your left hand to the heel and push into the heel so that the right knee goes to the right. Push the heel to the right. So we're currently in external rotation at the right thigh bone. Just kind of get used to the understanding of the rotations of the hip. Of course, we'll go over all of this in the lotus immersion, but really useful for today's posture to understand the difference between external and internal rotation of the thigh bone. Currently, right thigh externally rotated, it's turned out. Okay, come on up. Ooh, lost my balance. Left ankle over the right. So that's external rotation of the thigh bone. Slide your bum back. Hands off to the right. Right hand goes to the heel. Press outward with the hand, so the knee goes out to the left more. Again, the left thigh bone now is externally rotated. You can tell because the front of the thigh is facing out. All right, rise up. Take a full breath in. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bow forward. Half lift, inhale. Step the right foot back. Back heel down, walk the hands to the inside of the right foot, lengthen the chest. Exhale to bow. Stretching the right hip, full breath in. Okay, walk the hands back to center. You're going to pivot the back knee to the ground. This time, we're going to take our right arm underneath the right leg. So, better angle here for you. Right arm comes underneath, and you're going to grab the outer ankle. So, even if you're up here, you can reach underneath and grab the outer ankle. You're going to stick your right buttocks up and to the right. So, right bum up and to the right, like so. Okay, so up and to the right, and that will allow you some more range of motion to come on down, the best of your ability, of course. Bowing inward, and you can use your abdominal muscles to round the spine, so pull the ribs back. That'll help you look at your navel. Take a full breath in here, and out. 2 more. One more. Okay, inhale, rise up. And walk the hands on either side of the front foot. Lift both the back knee and lift both sides of the pelvis up, what I'm trying to say. Straighten through the right leg. And then walk your hands to the inside of the right foot. Back heel can come down, actually. We'll come to more like triangle pose. Lengthen the chest so you're diagonal, so you're not over the right leg here. And then bend the elbows out to the side. What I'm going to do is right sit bone is going to tuck underneath, give myself a hamstring engagement, and press the right, from the right sit bone, press down and forward through the right heel. So the back line of the leg shortens as it pushes outward, trying to create a facilitated stretch of the back side of the leg. So what you would feel is an engagement of the back leg if you're doing that properly, and the stretch sensation would start to subside. Okay, now come up. I'm going to flex the right foot, and just to kind of get a better understanding, turning the thigh bone in would look like this. So your whole right thigh would spin as if we're going to go to Prasarita Padottanasana. So think about going Prasarita Padottanasana. However, keep your hands where they are. So your right butt will slide to the right, turn the right thigh bone in, and that'll feel like a little bit of a stretch more in the adductor muscles of the right side there, okay? Then come back to external rotation so you feel that. Your tailbone would slide to the left, and then go back internal rotation of the right thigh. And then slide or rotate thigh bone out to the right, and rotate thigh bone in to the left. Okay, step forward, halfway lift, and exhale. Let's step the right foot back. Okay, now with the right foot back, sorry, that distracted me. You take your back knee onto the ground, left arm swings underneath the left leg, grabs onto the outer heel or ankle, like kind of like a little lobster claw. Then slide your butt to the left. So whoop, out to the left. And if you notice, when you do that, your left thigh bone will start to roll inward. That's what we're trying to do. Left thigh rolls in, butt out to the left, and then come on down the best of your ability to blocks or whatever you need, down to the ground, elbows if you can. And then once you get down here, pull the ribs in, rounding the spine. All right, come on up. Hands to the inside. We're gonna come to triangle pose with the legs. So slowly straighten through the left leg. Left sit bone scoops underneath. It shortens. You wanna shorten the back side of the leg. So tuck the pelvis. Hands off to the right and bow slowly. Okay, the idea here is you're gonna try to keep the left hamstring from overstretching by scooping it underneath, but also that creates a facilitated stretch. Facilitated stretch is when you activate a muscle as it is lengthened. It kind of gives a signal to the brain about how much tension is on the muscles. And it also lets the brain know that you are in control and aware that this muscle is lengthened, and you are also aware of how to shorten it if need be. So the body has a bunch of protection mechanisms where it senses a length of the muscle, and if the muscle is lengthened more than it normally is, or starting to get there, it will contract in what's called a stretch reflex, and that will limit your range of motion. And that's on purpose, is to keep you safe. But what this does, when you scoop and press the left sit bone down and you activate your hamstrings, it tells the brain that you actually know what you're doing it on purpose, and the brain will let go of that sort of unconscious response and allow you for greater range of motion. Okay, lift up, flex the left foot, slide the buttocks to the left, and rotate your left thigh bone in as you do that, internal rotation. Okay, that's the action for today. And then do the opposite. Externally rotate your thigh bone. You can slide the pelvis back into the right. Feel the difference. Internally rotate the thigh and slide the buttocks out to the left. Externally rotate the thigh and slide the buttocks in. And then internally rotate. Okay. Now there was some, come to seated. This is what I wanted to do. And we're just going to explore probably what you'll need to do. How can we do this? Best if we can hold on to something would be awesome, but I'm not sure. I think, maybe just 2 blocks is the best we got. If we had like a bar of some sorts would be nice to hold on to. But you're gonna just kind of bring your fingertips to the blocks and feet to the blocks like this, trying to bring your knees out to the sides. And you'll notice now, in this position here, you're rounding in your spine, flexion of the spine, and your thighs are turned out. Okay, that's natural. It's very hard not to do that. But we want to go from thighs turned out to thighs turned in. So squeeze the knees into the arms press out, and then turn your thighs in. As a result, your feet will go out, and try to straighten the legs in this position by turning in. So turn inward as you try to straighten the legs. What causes the straightening of the legs? Well, that's the quadriceps. But at the same time that you're straightening your knee joint, you're trying to rotate the thigh bones inward. So we'll do that again. Of course, it's quite a hip flexor engager as well. So you get here, try to reach towards the blocks. Obviously, the blocks will move if you put too much pressure into them. So just kind of use your core to do that. Then squeeze your knees into your arms. That's going to initiate the rotation of the thighs. Now, if you really internally rotate your thighs, your feet will go out as a result. And then straighten the legs, turning the thighs in as you straighten. Okay. Woo. So you probably have figured out that our main pose for today, Titibhasana.
So the way that we set this up is very similar to everything you just did, except you're just gonna be balancing on your hands. So grab the block caddy corner like this. I usually like to have 3 fingers on the outside, 1 on the inside, and if you have the wide fingers like I do, you can grip with your thumb. Otherwise, you can just put your thumbs right on top, is fine. Okay, you're gonna place these blocks, very important, don't fall asleep at this very moment. The blocks and arms go on the inside of the legs. Often I see people go to the outside and then you can't get the posture, so you go inside the legs. Then once you're inside the legs, widen the blocks as far out as you can. Okay, at this point, the blocks are behind my heels and I'm in that kind of position that you were just in on your buttocks, but I'm also in like a Malasana squat. So all you're gonna do now is round the back, pull your ribs in, and then sit down on your elbows, okay? And I'd suggest before you move any further, put a nice big bolster under your buttocks, because almost everybody that tries this for the first 100 times falls on their tailbone, and it's not a very comfortable fall, you know, and it could be injurious. So something nice and cushiony under your butt. Now, if you can't get to the blocks, try 2 blocks on each side, and they'll raise your hands up and require less flexibility, okay? Or you could always kind of, you know, do this on a ledge instead of down on blocks, like, you know, on a, I don't want to give too many dangerous ideas, but like on steps or something like this. Okay, you walk your arms through, bend the knees, take the hands to the blocks, around the back. Now, snuggle your way as deep as you can and bend the knees more by sitting onto your elbows. Then lift the heels up like this. Point your feet, lift the heels up, look forward. Now, many of you, this is going to be enough. All you need to do here is just squeeze your legs in and try to bring your feet together, or you can crisscross your feet. This would be called Bhuja Pidasana. Okay, that is a pose. It's also a great preparation for Titibhasana, which is what we're doing, or what I'm aiming for today, which is to turn, and I suggest do 1 leg at a time. So take your left leg, clamp your arm really strongly, and turn your right leg inward. Again, your foot will go outward when you turn your right thigh bone inward. Okay, squeeze the right arm with the right leg, turn your left thigh bone inward, lean a little to your right to help that out. Okay, and now you have half Titibhasana on the left, and then come out and give yourself a break. Okay, so of course, not everybody's going to be able to fly today. A large amount of this has to do with flexibility of the hips. Of course, strength of the core to pull the ribs back, and that connection between abdominals and serratus anterior we did in, I think, the fire line is what the upper body is required. But in the lower body, of course, it's that water line of internal rotation, or you can think of it as the fire line by squeezing inward as you rotate in, or a combination of the both. So Malasana is your kind of your base foundation for this posture to get deeper into this pose. So same with that narrow Prasarita Padottanasana. And of course, you know, we'll be going over a lot more hip opening next month. So if you're wanting more, then that's the great time to do it. So here we go. We'll try this again. Maybe one side, and then both sides, or just let's straight both sides if that's appropriate. So hips up, reach the arms underneath. Snuggle your way as low as you can by rounding the back. Use your core muscles to do so. Sit onto your elbows. Lift the heels up. Look forward. Squeeze in with your legs first. That will get you to fly. And then I like to flex the feet. And you can go 1 leg at a time. Turn the right leg in. Lean a little to the left. Maybe you leave it there this time. Turn the left leg in. Lean a little to the right. Turn both legs in. And you have Titibhasana. Okay, both legs are turned in, but I'm squeezing in. That's the key point. Squeezing the legs into the arms, the front of the thighs squeezing in, and that's my adductor muscles doing that. My upper back is full, like I'm rounded. You can see like I'm in plank pose. Okay, then I come out by squeezing the arms, place the feet to the ground, and I exit the pose. So to get real compact in the core, you gotta use your abdominals, and of course, that's going to create that, or be created through that posterior tilt of the pelvis. The more hip flexion, the more spinal flexion, the easier this pose gets, okay? It's never easy, of course. It's still effortful, even when you have a tremendous amount of core strength and hip flexibility.
All right, time to unwind after that. Let's start with a pigeon on the right. And optionally, I'm going to take a thigh stretch. You're welcome to do the same leg or opposite if you prefer. And if you want, you can take a bow. And then we'll switch it up. Left shin across the mat. Thigh stretch. Highly recommended. Release the thigh stretch, forward fold. Okay. Come onto your back. Take a little supine twist. Back to center. Supine twist the other side. I also use this, by the way, as a pec stretch when I do the supine twist. I take the opposite shoulder and I retract the scapula. Try to bring the shoulder towards the ground and reach the arm out to the side, trying to pull the shoulder blade in towards the spine. So this becomes a left pectoralis stretch. Because its attachment points are over here, moving with the twist, while the shoulder blade is trying to retract, moving the head of the arm bone back. So that's the attachment points on the arm and the shoulder there. Okay, going back. Little happy baby pose. Or bridge if you want to do something for your back muscles to engage. Release into Shavasana. Let's take a full breath in. Sigh it out the mouth. And settle in. awareness now back to your breath. Stretch the arms. Roll to your side and come up to a seated position. Let's place the hands at the heart center. Take a breath in. Long breath out. A moment to acknowledge this body and all of its efforts in this immersion and, of course, in life itself. Thank you for diving into this 12-class immersion, getting connected to our breath and, of course, our core and all the muscles that unify the body through the core. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I hope you learned a lot. Namaste. Thank you all so much. All right. Next month we have an 8-class immersion, and that's going to be on lotus pose. And of course, anatomical hip opening. So we'll work on all the different muscle engagements and different articulations of the joints in order to gain maximum range of motion so that we can all approach our best lotus pose. Of course, we won't be using force for this, and we will be using technique and try to be as skillful as possible in maintaining awareness of our knee joints and not push any part of our body, but rather encourage an opening. Okay, if you're interested in that, please do sign up, and make sure you're logged in when you sign up, because anybody that's in this immersion gets a member discount. You'll see that it's $10 less than the average. So I think normal pricing, it's $78, so it'll be $68 for you this time because it's an 8-class immersion. All right, everybody, it's been a pleasure to share with you. Thanks everybody that made it to any of the live streams as well. I appreciate that extra effort. And then of course, if you were able to make it to the end and of this immersion, regardless if you did it live or not, thank you so much for your dedication, and congratulations on that effort and that progress. Mikhail, thank you. Jane, thank you. Patty, Lisa, Vaishali, thank you. Cindy, Nina, Krista, Andriana, Jackie, Cheryl, Steph, I know you only popped in for a second. Kristen, thank you. Lisa, Jane, dear Matt, thank you for those insights and offer your immersion. I really learned a lot while having a wonderful time. So glad to hear that, Jane. Thank you, Matt. So enjoyed today's practice. Looking forward to Lotus. So much love, everybody. You too, Nina. Mikhail says, thank you very much, Matt. Thank you, Mikhail. Patty says, wonderful immersion. Thank you so much. Thanks, Patty. Sabui says, thank you so much for a great immersion. Looking forward to the next one. Same as well. Okay, everybody, have a beautiful day, and I can't wait to see you in March if you're going to be practicing the next live stream immersion. See you then. Bye-bye.